Once you are consistently working out for, 45 minutes to an hour, at least 5 days a week for 3 to 6 months straight, I will then listen to your argument of why you should do a body part split. But until that point, full body is going to be better. Welcome to Only the Greatest Podcast. If you're feeling stuck and unsure what to do next in your fitness journey, we might be what you're looking for. My name is Philip. I own and operate OTG Fitness, which is a private personal training gym on the south side of Houston in Webster. I do this podcast every week with my best friend, Daryl. We've been friends since third grade and working out together ever since. Also joining us today will be Sean. He's the one that makes this podcast not only sound great, but look good as well. Our goal here is to help Houston make its way up the ladder of health and fitness. So if you're in the Houston area and ready to become the greatest version of yourself, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. So before we dive into exactly why full body workouts are better for most people, and probably you that are listening to this episode right now, I want to talk a little bit about why there is this confusion of which is better, like body part splits, full body. I really feel like most people just immediately think body part split. If you don't know what a body part split is, basically imagine it as on a particular day, you do a particular body part. So on Monday, I'm doing chest. On Tuesday, I'm doing back. On Wednesday, I'm doing legs. Thursday, I'm doing arms, and so on, right? And don't get me wrong, that can be very effective. But I think there's a better way, especially for you that's listening to this. And the reason body part splits are popular, personal opinion of mine, is because of the supplement industry and their marketing efforts. You know, when people start working out, and the supplement industry has done a great job of this, they immediately think, what supplement should I take? That's the first thing that they ask. What supplement should I take? I hear this all the time. As a personal trainer, people come to the gym, they want to get started on their health and fitness journey. They're asking about supplements. My personal opinion, that should be the last thing on your list. The supplement part is like the last 2% of the equation. We got 98% of the work to get figured out first before we talk about supplements. But because of their marketing efforts, they have put this on our forefront. And the people that they use at the forefront of their marketing are the bodybuilders and the fitness models of the world. And it makes sense. A lot of times when people start working out, they do it to look better. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people, maybe people try to hide that, but at the end of the day, people want to look better. And who is at the top? Who's at the top of that industry? Who's at the top of that world? The bodybuilders and the fitness models. So the supplement industry has paid tons, thousands, millions of dollars to implant that in front of us. And when we see this person that we really look up to in the way that they look, it makes sense. The logical thing to do is, I should do what that person does. And what does that person do? They do chest today, back tomorrow, shoulders the next day, legs, and so on, right? So all we're doing is trying to implement the people that we look up to in this industry. So it kind of makes sense. But I think what's missing is the understanding that is a different person. I often tell our clients that I understand that you're never going to enjoy working out as much as I do. And I get that. You need to get your frequency very high and your consistency very high before a body part split is going to be more beneficial than a full body workout. Once you are consistently working out for, 45 minutes to an hour, at least 5 days a week for 3 to 6 months straight, I will then listen to your argument of why you should do a body part split. But until that point, full body is going to be better. And here's why. One, just the total time efficiency. I can get just as much work done in less time. And I'm assuming that if you're listening to this, like I mentioned earlier, you probably don't love going to the gym. Now, you do it because you know you need to, and maybe you're even considering it, maybe you haven't started yet. And what you're looking for is the outcome, not the gym session itself. It's what you get out of it. And that makes complete sense. That's why I do it at this point as well. Everyone goes through a phase where they really do love working out, maybe. And I went through that, but it took me a few years to get to that point, and that's pretty normal. So, just the total time efficiency, the fact that I have to spend less time in the gym is a huge bonus of the full body piece of the full body decision, the decision to do a full body workout, right? Another good thing about it, the enhanced calorie burn. And you'll notice that I say calorie burn, not fat burn. Um, I'm not a huge fan of the word, that language of burning fat. It doesn't exactly work that way, but you do burn more calories because if you think about it on a leg day, you're going to burn a lot of calories. But on just an arm day, there's going to be next to no calories burned. It's not zero, but it's very little. And in general, I'll mention this as well. You don't burn as many calories when you work out as you think you do, or as you want to. It's not a whole lot. You burn more calories just moving around throughout the day than you do in a 45-minute gym session for the most part. But by doing full body, every workout is going to be hard. And maybe this is a little bit of a disadvantage. You're never going to have a day that's just like super easy because every day you're going to be working your entire body. So it is harder. I will say maybe that is what we could call a disadvantage, but we're getting more work done. And I'm here to save time. You know, if you're going to go to the gym, you might as well work hard, right? You might as well do it and do it to your full capability. So we're going to be burning more calories because we're going to be using those big muscle groups, compound exercises. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But every time you go to the gym, you're going to be moving your entire body, which will lead to more calories burned. Results in general faster because on the frequency side of the equation, if I do all legs today and I work out, let's say I work out 3 days a week. It's kind of the example that we're using. If I do legs today, chest on Wednesday and then back on Friday, as an example, I'm waiting an entire week to do anything leg related again. So I'm not going to get to practice my form. I'm not going to stimulate those muscles. I'm not going to create protein synthesis in my legs at all for a full 7 days. And that will lead to slower results. If you do it more often and more frequent, you will get better at it. And that's a huge part too. We can talk about that in a different video where less variety is actually better because you actually get good at something and then you can progressively overload that thing over time. So we can get faster results, especially as a beginner, because we spend more time learning those fundamental things, you know, because we can do squats on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We just don't do a whole lot of them. But over the period of time, we do get more done. So between Monday and Friday, I'm going to do more work on squats and more work on legs than if I did it all on Monday. Because after my first set as a beginner, my legs might be pretty shot and I'm not going to get very good effectiveness on my second workout on Monday. But if I wait until Wednesday to do it again, then I'm recovered and I can actually give it a good effort once again. So faster results, huge benefit of the full body workout. Reduce risk of imbalance and injury. That kind of, I already talked about this, but less volume at one time means that you're going to have less form breakdown. Because again, if I do, let's use leg press as an example. If I do my 3 or 4 sets of leg press first thing on Monday, right, as my first exercise, and next I want to do lunges, my lunges might not be that effective. My balance might be all messed up. My form could break down, and now I'm at risk of injury. But if I do leg press on Monday and then wait until Wednesday to do lunges, because I'm doing legs of some kind a little bit each day, I'm going to recover from the leg press because it's been 48 hours. I'll recover from that leg press. And now I can do my lunges with good form, with good technique, and I can do them more effectively, right? And I'm going to have an equal balance as I move forward between my right leg and left leg. Because on Monday, again, if my legs are shot, like on Monday from the leg press or from the squats, by the time I get to that next exercise, nothing's going to be working as effectively or as well as it could have if I would have waited a little bit. So I think that's a huge piece of the equation. And then the last piece of the total volume meaning like how much work you do on any single body part at a time. That would be your total volume. Like body part, reps times sets would be volume, right? How much you get done on one particular body part. If you do a ton of volume, we keep going back to our Monday leg day, and we know nobody actually does legs on Monday, right? Monday's chest day, especially for the guys. But on Monday, if we do all legs, especially again, as a beginner, on Tuesday, you're going to be so sore that you're not going to be excited about working out. You're not going to want to go back, right? You're barely going to be able to walk. And that is just not fun. It's very important as someone that's getting started on this journey that you enjoy the process. Like I mentioned earlier, I understand that you probably don't love going to the gym and putting in some hard work, but you like the result. Well, if you have to go to the gym and work really hard, and then tomorrow you hate the result because you're so sore you can barely move, that's not an advantage. But if we spread the volume over time, we do for legs, we do squats on Monday, lunges on Wednesday, leg press, just to keep going with our example earlier, leg press on Friday. We got the same amount of volume, right? We did 3 sets of each exercise. If we did 3 sets of each exercise all on Monday, I would be so sore tomorrow. I could barely walk. But if I spread that volume out, same amount of volume, 3 sets of squats, lunges, and leg press. But I spread it out over the week. I get all of the same benefits because I got the same volume. I just spread it out over time. And not only do I feel better tomorrow, but each exercise was more effective because I had the recovery, 48 hours of recovery between each one, right? So huge advantage there. And, I've been kind of discussing the person just getting started because in general, that's who we really help a lot. At OTG, we really work with beginners, people that haven't worked out much before, making them feel very comfortable, giving them a program that they can handle, that they can do, and get them moving in the right direction. But who else can this be good for? It really can be good for someone that's kind of stuck in a rut because they're so used to every Monday being chest day or every Tuesday being shoulder day. If you just need a little bit of something different, throwing in a full body day can really change the game. Because if you're like on shoulder day, for example, or arm day, or even chest day, some people might not even be breaking a sweat because they're not really working that hard, you know. And so throwing in this full body thing where you have to do some legs, you have to do some core, you have to do everything. It's really going to spice it up and kind of get you, get that motivation kicked back in because you're like, oh man, this is what it feels like to really do some work in a day. So that can be another great person this is good for. And then the person that just wants to save time. If you only have 2 or 3 days a week, which a lot of people do, only have 2 or 3 days a week to exercise. We live in a very fast-paced world. There's a lot of movement. People have a lot of responsibility, kids, jobs, family, other responsibilities, social things, travel, especially if you travel for work, then it's really difficult, right? If you want to spend less time in the gym and be more efficient, whether you're just getting started, you've been working out for a long time, by doing full body, we can get a lot of the same results in less time, right? So, I would say 3 days a week is really where we want to try to get to. If you can only do two, awesome, do two, but don't do like legs today and arms tomorrow. And well, let's use like a Monday, Friday example, like legs on Monday, arms on Friday. The problem there is if you're so busy that you can only work out 2 days a week, the likelihood of you actually making it to both of them every time is pretty slim. Like, let's be honest, you know? So if you miss your Monday workout, now you're going 2 weeks without doing legs again, right? But if we did full body, you still did some legs on Friday, right? So you didn't wait that entire time period to have to hit a particular body part again. So there's a ton of advantages. We've been going on and on and on about the advantages of full body workout, who it's best for. But what exactly does it look like? Well, I can tell you that the most important thing are compound exercises, right? So compound exercises we would define as an exercise that involves two joints. So if we think about a bench press, we're using our shoulder joint, we're using our elbow joint. If we think about a squat, we're using our hips, we're using our knees and our ankles, three joints. Anything that's more than one, right? If we're doing a lat pull down, again, similar to the bench press, but we're pulling instead of pushing. So we're using our shoulder, we're using our elbow, two joints. That means we're going to be working a lot more muscles at the same time. And that's kind of like the fundamental understanding, even before we get in exactly how to structure this. It is important to understand that these compound exercises are going to be the most beneficial. Isolation exercises would be like your bicep curl. There's only one joint moving. Only your elbow joint is moving during a bicep curl. During a tricep extension, again, only your elbow joint. A shoulder raise, a side raise, only your shoulder joint. All your other joints are kind of locked out. They're not moving. So you're isolating a single muscle when you're doing these isolation exercises. Still great exercises, but your workout should be revolved around the compound exercises. More bang for your buck, more efficient, more time saving. Yes, they're harder, but you will get more results in less time. And that's what's important here. So how do we structure this full body workout? We're going to talk about 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But what's cool about this is you can do any 3 days. You could do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You could do Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. However it works in your schedule, they can be revolving days. They don't always have to be the same. I understand that people's schedules change. We do encourage and recommend, if at all possible, just pick your days and times and stick with them. But if you can't, move them around. Again, like we mentioned earlier, if you miss a day when you're doing a full body routine, not as big of a deal because you're still going to get everything done. So what are we going to do? We're going to go into the gym and we're going to obviously warm up first. What does a warm up look like? Well, there's kind of three main parts to a warm up. One, raising of the body temperature, right? So we want to get the heart rate elevated, get the body temperature. Next is range of motion. So we want to get our joints moving. And third would be muscle activation. So muscle activation can easily be done by just doing some lightweight of the exercise you want to do. You can do an easier version of those exercises. So for example, if push-ups are in your workout, maybe you do like a set of knee push-ups first, right? So those three aspects are very important in a warm-up. Getting your body temperature elevated, which includes elevating your heart rate. Range of motion, so moving your joints through a range of motion. And then third, muscle activation of what it is that you want to do. So make sure that whenever you warm up, you always have those three aspects. And then after the warm up, we're going to be doing what we call supersets. So a superset is back-to-back exercises with little to zero break in between them. And those supersets are going to be comprised of, I think would be the right word there, comprised of one upper body and one lower body exercise. Lots of benefits here. One, while you're doing your upper body exercise, your lower body is kind of resting, right? And vice versa. When you're doing your lower body exercise, your upper body is resting. Sorry. When you're doing your lower body exercise, your upper body is resting. And that allows us to take less actual rest times. I know that sounds like it's going to be harder, and it is harder. But again, what we're trying to do here is be efficient with our time. More results, less time. And I want to pick two of those supersets. So I want to do upper body, lower body superset 3 times. So like bench press, deadlift. I'm going to do 3 sets. A set would be each time those two things are done together would be 1 set. So bench press, deadlift, set 1. Bench press, deadlift, set 2. Bench press, deadlift, set 3. Those would be your 3 sets. That is your upper body and lower body superset that you do together. Maybe each set you get a little bit heavier, change the reps a little bit. As far as reps, you know, anything between 5 and 20 reps can be very effective for muscle growth. So doing less than 5, there are some benefits, but the risk reward and the trade off not really there. Doing more than 20, again, still benefits. But my concern with doing more than 20 is like it's kind of boring, you know. You're doing the same thing a lot, right? And you might as well just use more weight and get it done with less repetitions. So we're gonna pick two of those supersets though, right? And we're gonna do the first one, bench press deadlift as our example. We're gonna do the bench press deadlift back to back, take a break. Bench press deadlift back to back, take a break. Bench press deadlift back to back, take a break. Now we move on to our second superset, which is going to be very similar, upper body, lower body, right? So we're going to do lat pull down, squat, rest, lat pull down, squat, rest, lat pull down, squat. And that is our second superset of compound exercises. After that, we're going to do one superset of isolation exercises. What does that look like? They could be bicep, tricep. It could be bicep and abs, right? That can count here as well. So again, we're going to do 3 sets. We're going to do them 2 exercises back to back as a superset. And that whole routine, warm up, 2 upper body, lower body, compound supersets, and 1 isolation superset. You are getting so much work done in 35, 40 minutes. That should take you about 40 minutes. If you have time, do a metabolic finisher, right? Do something for 5 or 10 minutes at the end to really get the heart rate up. If there's a sled in your gym, push the sled around. If there's a bike, do some bike sprints. Get on the treadmill, a few minutes of cardio, right? Really kind of get that heart rate going, do a little bit of what we call metabolic conditioning at the end or cardio, whatever verbiage that you want to do, and finish strong, right? But the most important thing is those upper body and lower body compound exercise supersets. That is really where your results are going to come from. And you can do the same ones all 3 days a week. And then next week, change the exercises. Great approach. You could also have a day 1 full body routine, day 2, day 3, and no matter what day you come in, whether it's, say your normal routine is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Monday would be workout 1, Wednesday would be workout 2, Friday would be workout 3. Well, if you miss Wednesday and come in Thursday, cool, just do workout 2 and you will stay on track. And so that is the most important thing, is to find an approach that works for you and follow through with it, right? I can sit here all day and give you the perfect plan. But if you're not able to do it, then we're not going to get any results. So my goal with everyone, with every single client that I talk to, is to create a plan that not only works, but works for them. And what I've noticed in my about 9 years working with clients as a personal trainer, almost 1,000 clients at this point, the full body approach is the one that works over time for all the reasons that we've discussed so far. So if you need specific exactly what to do for you, I obviously cannot answer that right here, but I'd love to chat. I'd love to talk with you, see what we can do to help out, put together a plan that does work for you. And if that's something you'd be interested in, you can, I'm sure either in the description of this episode, whether you're on YouTube or listening on a podcast platform, there will be a link to our website. It's just otgfitness.com. Go to get started, fill out the little form. There's no commitments there. Put in your information. You'll probably hear from Denver. If not Denver, you'll hear from myself. And we could talk about what an exact plan for you looks like. And we'll take all things into consideration, right? Schedule, what's going on in your life, nutrition as well. And we will use this full body approach to help fitness fit into your lifestyle. Fitness should add to your life, not take away from it. So if we give you a plan that makes you feel pressured, that makes you feel like it's going to be too difficult to fit into your lifestyle, that gives you anxiety, you're probably not going to do it. So it is my goal to put together a plan that works for you and your lifestyle so we can make it better. So guys, if there's anything that I can do to help out, please let us know. otgfitness.com, fill out the little form. We'd be happy to help you out. If you have specific questions or anything that you'd like us to talk about, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on a podcast platform, we do this podcast video based as well. So make sure you go check it out on YouTube. It's just Only the Greatest. OTG stands for Only the Greatest. And we're here to help Houston make its way up the ladder of health and fitness. So we just want to do that. If there's anything we can do to help you out, please do let us know. And I'll see you next time.